Iniobong Monday joins me on the show today for what is another interesting conversation, especially off the back of the first time we've had the CAF Awards in 3 years. First off, it's good to have you here.
Yeah, absolute pleasure to be here, and it was a beautiful ceremony, I've got to say. It was really good to see, you look at the Senegalese legends with past and present, the Diouf and Fadiga, see JJ Okoches and
I saw him dancing. He looked really mobile.
Exactly, right. And it was a good night of African football, celebrating African talent and celebrating the contributions that these players are making in football.
Great stuff there. Great. So, one of the players who, of course, took home what was another interesting honor last night was Asisat Oshoala, who's been missing in action for Nigeria in the last Africa Women's Championship, but not to worry, she was around yesterday. Well, one thing for sure, what was possible yesterday was that she could go home with a 5th Africa Women's crown, of course, which she went away with yesterday. Iniobong Monday still in the studio for a great conversation because, I mean, you could tell that, what happened yesterday is the end product of a lot of hard work and a lot of burden carrying the pressure of an entire continent. Of course, she's now won it 5 times, which means she's the outright, record-breaking, winner of the award. I mean, she surpasses some incredible players there. Pepachan Wokocha, and of course, Mesakide won it once. I imagine. Uwaka also won it once as well. Where does she rank now? And I hate to, put players against each other, but you've got to say that it feels like yesterday she came onto the scenes and she's, blazed the trail since then. She has to be in a class of her own now. There's nobody, in her category.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got to consider one fact that you talk about Pepachan Wokocha, and I think Pepachan Wokocha played in an incredible squad. Mercy Akidiudo as well played in an incredible squad. Cynthia Wak was in the class of her own at the time, but what she's done is just clearly unprecedented. She's taking it a notch higher. She's been through a lot, growing up and then getting into Europe, playing for Liverpool, playing for Arsenal, now playing for Barcelona, winning the Pichichi. Incredible season she had with Barcelona. And, people question the fact that maybe at the national team level she doesn't quite deliver.
Yeah.
But there's no doubting the quality that she brings to the table. And when you play for a team like Barcelona, and you show the level of consistency she showed there, it's just quite incredible, and I'm really pleased for her. And then she made a very good point in that visual we just watched. That sometimes when you go to a space, you go to a place, you're not just playing for yourself. You're playing for the generation coming. You're playing for the people that are coming behind you. And she's been able to be a great, worthy ambassador for Nigerian women's football.
I've got to say, CAF, I mean, never mind, the award itself. The stage is just really amazing. CAF put in a great effort into putting the events together. But speak to me about the consciousness. You've spoken about the consciousness which she carries, on her shoulder. And that's just a nice, list of the people who have won it before her, and of course people who she actually met. She actually met Wokocha on 3. When she started, and to equal that and now surpass that is something remarkable. So, look, I think this is a win. She's mentioned it's not just a win for her. Win for Nigeria, win for the entire continent, the world constantly, looking at where the next best talent is. And I've got to say that, you like the fact that a player like Rasheedat Ajibade could be looking at her and thinking, a couple of years ago, Asisat was also in the same place I was, the same position. I could also become a superstar by the performances I'm putting up currently, because she's one of the best at the moment.
Deservedly, Nigerians have been able to, keep this award as a birthright. You talk about Mercy Akide, you talk about Cynthia Wak, and Pepachan Wokocha came and did her bit as well. And of course, Caesar has come and done incredibly well. And now you're looking at the next generation, and that has to be someone like Rasheedat Ajibade thinking, that would be me in another 2 years or 3.
Is she the greatest player to ever play for Nigeria, Asisat Oshoala? I mean, depending on who you speak to, someone tell you, look, I think she's coming a period where you can see the game more. There's more, eyeballs in Spain, and of course she was at Arsenal, she was at Liverpool also. Is she the greatest? You've watched a couple female players.
Yeah, I wouldn't say she's the greatest, because in my opinion, I think the greatest has got to be part of that 1999 squad that got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. It has to be from that squad, because Asisat, given what has been a lot more exposure, a lot more consciousness of women's football at the time. It's easy, like you said, to see what they're doing in Europe. The Women's Champions League is now on TV. It's great. But I just think that 1999 squad that had Florence Omagbemi, that had Mercy Akide, had Nkiru, Anosieme, a lot of real talent. I just feel that squad in itself has got to produce one of the best players.
So what does she have to do to? What does she have to in your assertions? What does she have to do to stand out outrightly? Of course, she's won 5, this awards, which stands her out, on her own. But is that international football thing that just needs to get wiped away?
Of course. I think that she's got to, and it must be on the African continent. It has to be at the world stage. We go to New Zealand and Australia next year, and you would think that she would be thinking, I've got to go to that tournament and show people that I'm not just a one-season wonder. Of course she's not. Everyone knows that she's got incredible self-belief and ability, but she's got to do it at the national team level. And that's what the other ones did that she hasn't quite done. And I'm talking Mercy Akide. She won the Player of the Year just once, but I just feel that at the time, Mercy Akide was the very reason that Oshoala is playing football today, that Unkocha is playing football today, because she's a trailblazer, and she did it incredibly. And Oshoala knows she's got to perform at the national team level and at the world stage.
Great stuff there. Thanks for your insights. Well, you could be a part of the show as well on social media. How about you head on to our Facebook page at Fans Connect Club. You can also head on to Twitter at Afro Sports TV. Alternatively, you can actually just tweet at Fans Connect Club on Twitter as well. Just send in your interactions to us. Let us know if you think that Asisat Oshoala, after winning the fifth title as the African Best Player of the Year, if she's the greatest African footballer in the women's category. Let us know your thoughts. Use the hashtag FansConnect as well.